What is the most petty reason you had for breaking up with someone? It was too hard to park by her apartment. Now that's petty. I like it. She was sweet too. I hope she met a guy with a smaller vehicle. This sounds sexual. She would act like a chicken just randomly. What the cluck? Don't balk at it till you've tried it. That is sorta hot. Keep it in your pants opus. I know, right? Hey commenter, I think I might want her number. Mayo. Ex told me she broke up with her first boyfriend because she didn't feel like shopping for his birthday gift. Then broke up with me 2 weeks before mine. Jesus. It was only a 2-year relationship. I'm not fine now. 2 years is pretty long. Oh I know, lol. I remember thinking I had basically just lost 10% of my life because she fell for a guy who I warned her was too emotionally manipulative to even be friends with. I warned her when we broke up to leave him alone, even if we broke up, because he was the kind of guy who will try to kill himself to keep her. Year later turns out I was right. She scraped her teeth on her utensils when she ate. I just couldn't. Cringed reading that. You made a good choice. My ex did that. That's not why I broke up with her, mind you, but it was fucking awful. How hard is it not to chomp down on the fork when you eat? For fuck's sake. I still cringe when I remember it. My ex broke up with me because I liked panda bears too much. I was obsessed, true, but it wasn't the real reason. Username checks out. Not sure if it's petty, but he told me he wasn't attracted to women with tattoos after we'd been dating for 2 years. Edit. He specifically said he was happy with me, but he could never marry me because of my tattoos. So I asked why we were wasting our time and we broke up. I mean, did he specifically mean he wasn't attracted to you? Cause otherwise yeah, that might be the winner here, lol. He said he'd never marry me. He 100% seriously told me I was waifu material. I have never been drier than when those 2 words slipped out from between his lips. I can imagine it already. You're perfect waifu material, I'm breaking up with you. Not me, but my ex threatened to break up with me for farting too much in my sleep. It's no longer a threat if they actually do it. Joke's on her. I broke up with her first. I got a deal with my partner, I put up with her, I just murdered 3 hookers and drank a 40 ounces of rum SNORES*, and she puts up with whatever tiny people running a mass industrial manufacturing complex that lives inside my gut and belches out farts that make you visualize whales breaching. Love is weird. She said I ate poor people food. I'm poor. What do you expect? Steak and lobster every night. I would like examples. Really, TBH, I'm just looking for an excuse to defend various Kraft mac and cheese products. Any pasta out of a box, any food that had been frozen, and any bread that I wasn't cooked that day. She does not understand how good poor people food can taste. Show me the lobster that's better than pizza pockets. Right? And I was going to make one of my best dishes too. Pen with a creamy cheese and broccoli sauce. But she didn't want noodles from a box. But what noodles don't come from a box? I guess I've seen bags of noodles, but then they get crushed. She let me know how many calories were in my bacon cheese fries in disgust. Just out of interest, how many? Was it like a lot? They were the Outback Steakhouse House Aussie fries or anything 2000 calories or something. Sounds fucking good to me. They said my sister wasn't pretty. I was 14 and very protective of my older sister. Keep it cool, Jane. My ex-girlfriend in 1st grade sneezed into my sweatshirt and got snot all over the sleeve. She always had the sniffles, and looking back it was kinda sad, but I'm not choosing you over my sweater. Sorry Shelby. Poor Shelby. If you want to destroy my sweater. My best mate broke up with a really nice girl and the only reason he gave me was that he was bored that day. I once quit a job because I didn't feel like working that day. I have done this multiple times. Generally within the first couple of weeks working there, I'm not a good employee. He talked with a really posh accent and called his mum back quote mummy. It grated on me so bad after a couple of weeks. You broke up with him for this? Wait till mummy hears. Father will hear of this. I love cooking, especially breakfast foods. She did not like eggs. I'm like, can I really spend the rest of my life with someone who won't be eating eggs with me on weekend mornings when we are old? No, I could not. Utifo made the right choice. Cute, blonde, not too skinny but just right, athlete, nice, friendly, kind, and a big toe the size of my fucking fist. She's a horse dude. It's okay, some of us are. I quite enjoy it. Do you date horses? Nay, I'm a horse. I was 12 and my friend told me to or else they'd stop playing with me. In hindsight, that was a very bad friend as I'd liked this boy for a while. It was time for a friend breakup. Some girl broke up with me because I didn't use enough emojis while texting. I'm not proud of how I handled this one, but it was his accent. It was a very thick rural Alabama accent, and while I did try to check my issues, I just couldn't see me getting around it. Last I heard he was married and a father, so I'm glad there are better people out there than me. I had a brilliant professor from Alabama. He started the first class with a question. Do you know why Thee will never be a president of the United States of America from the great state of Alabama? Pause. It's because we sound so stupid. And then he started class. I could literally hear this in my head as I read it. Thanks for your efforts on spelling. Funny, because Bush Jr. and Clinton definitively played up their southern accents to cultivate a certain public image. I have a country accent, not hillbilly level, but I do sometimes get insecurities about my intelligence when speaking to non-southerners. It sucks that my accent is associated with ignorance, because I really try to not be as dumb as I sound to some people. She somehow thought a purring noise during sex was sultry, genetically engineered. Catch-a-rolls. You gotta up your game. That's a vibrator. Sounds kinda hot. The plot twist. She had a smoker's lungs. He got a haircut. It looked so bad I realized I wasn't actually attracted to him and just liked the attention. About 2 months into my, now 3.5 year, relationship, my boyfriend finally accepted the fact he was balding. Without any warning whatsoever for what he was doing, he came out of the bathroom while I was at his house with his head completely shaved. He went from shaggy length, albeit thinning, hair to a Q-tip. It took me about a day to decide that I did, in fact, still want to date him. But I can't pretend I didn't at some pause. Haha. She didn't think it was fair to me waiting for her to come back from deployment after she had already gone away for 3 months. Like, woman, I already made the sacrifice of not being able to see you as often as I'd like. If I wasn't very much aware of that fact, I would have never dated you in the first place. Oh boy, sounds like there were some other reasons. I think there were other reasons as well. Most likely another man. For me, it was a vulgar Facebook page. He was commenting explicit details about people he hooked up with. Would share porn as well. So that's why there is share buttons on porn sites. I broke up for someone once because his dick was too big. He was a strict bottom. Yeah. I kinda feel bad for those dudes with horse dongs. It's just so pointless and probably uncomfortable, and you can't even get it inside the majority of women, so you have to find extra deep women who probably carry the same genes. So your kids are going to all be handicapped by wheelbarrow-sized dicks that can only fit in Kmart stretch pants. My current partner suffers from this affliction. It really limits our potential sex positions. Out of curiosity, what do you do? Do you get out the strap-on? Basically, I can't be on top and anal is absolutely out of the question. It's difficult for me to perform oral sex on him for long. I have an extremely high libido and ideally would have sex multiple times a day, but honestly I need a few days to rest every now and then where we just do oral. It's not really a terrible burden. Could be worse. Mostly I just end up feeling kind of selfish. It was pretty embarrassing a couple of weeks ago when my Gino mentioned my cervix was bruised. She had extreme halitosis. Halitosis. I had a theater instructor whose breath was absolutely awful 100% of the time. It smelled like improv games and the pits of hell. Worst part is she was a really great teacher. She would get real close to your face and give these great instructions with all this enthusiasm, and you'd have to hold your breath and nod furiously until she was done. On the other hand, maybe this was her way to make us memorize instructions as efficiently as possible. A guy dumped me once because I wouldn't do anal with him. I'd also traveled 4 hours and missed work to see him for that. Sorry you got a dud. It's okay. I realized it on the way home. A guy I dated refused to eat pizza. It was over before it started. He was leaving more for you.